Hello, 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 and welcome back to an amazing episode of E to E, Expert to Experts, where we bring you the world's best expert. And the topic of today is something that you must listen, you must watch, and download it, keep it with you, share it with your friends, and share it with somebody that you truly love. Today, we are going to talk about longevity. And there's nobody better than the founder of the Million Hour Club. And you're going to know more about it shortly. But let's bring right now on stage the one and only Dr. Alka Patel. Dr. Alka, glad to see you. How are you doing?
Amazing. Lovely to be here with you, Moses. Fantastic.
So, for those of you who don't know, the first time I met Dr. Alka, I was shocked because I could see the driving license and there was a certain age. But then she presented to me her papers and she said that biologically, her cells and her body are or is the body of a 20-year-old person. And I was shocked. Now, for those of you who think that I am young, well, I'm not so young. I may not have white hair, but this is my 41 year on this earth, on this world. But I do like taking care of myself. And I always say that I will be immortal and I will live so long on earth. Now, Dr. Alka, what is number one for you? First of all, what is for you longevity and what is the true meaning of longevity?
I love this idea of immortality, Moses. Great. Long may your presence on this planet last. Wonderful. But we're not quite there. In the
I know.
field of longevity and longevity medicine, immortality is just slightly out of our reach. But there is a reality
I
because
gave a
living
try.
we've got to set that mission. The reality is we are living longer and we can live even longer right now. And what longevity is, by definition, really is the length of your life. So longevity is how long can you live? That human potential, what potential do we have within us to live a long life? Now, most people listening will say, yeah, I want a long life maybe, but I also want one that is healthy. So this is what
Yeah.
we get into. I'm going to give you two other words which are important to know, which are lifespan and health span. So your lifespan is how long your life is, and your health span is how healthy are those years. And ideally, this is what you want. When you say, I want to be immortal, Dr. Alka, what you're saying is, I want all my years to be healthy years. You want your lifespan and your health span to be matched. But here's what's happening right now, Moses, and this is actually very sad, is that for most people, that last decade, those last 20 years of life are in decline.
Hmm.
You're frail, you're fragile. All those things with aging that we don't want to associate with are happening. So then the question back is, how do we be more proactive about our health now so that what you do in this decade sets you up for that next decade and that next decade and that next decade? Because I'm going to give you my magic number, which you can probably see already, which is 1 million hours. I believe we all have the potential to live a 1 million hour
And if
life.
we break it down, what is 1 million hours in terms of years?
114.
Okay, so you are saying that potentially, as human beings, we could live 1 million hours, which is 114, and we could live the last 20 years, which means from 94 to no, yeah, from 94 to 114, we could live them in healthy way,
Yes.
shaped. Okay.
Yes. Yes. 100%. First of all, the proof of that is that there are already people on this planet who have lived beyond 114. We know this already. So in terms of, is the human body potentially able to do that? The answer is yes. The challenge now is, how do we make those years healthy years? And what this really points to is your lifespan is determined by your lifestyle. That's the key.
Okay. Your lifespan.
Yeah.
Oh, and also the lifestyle of that you've got a couple of dogs there joining us for the
I
podcast.
have beautiful dogs who completely agree. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to go and let them out.
So this is the power of being on E2E. You can have any type of situation, and we are live here, and we are on normal life. So even in your lifestyle, you've got your loving dogs, and that is one thing which could also benefit and give even a longer lifestyle. Now, can you really reverse aging and actually become younger?
So, we're now living in an amazing time, right? This isn't the 19th century. This is the 21st century and beyond. There's new frontiers. We now know that we can test and look for what previously, even several decades ago, we couldn't look for. So, as a longevity doctor, Moses, I focus on what I call precision medicine and decision making medicine that is driven by data. So when you ask me the question, can we really reverse aging? Look, the clock I can't change, right? The sun is going to continue to be there and the earth is going to continue to do its traveling, right? But what we can change is not the chronological clock, but the biological clock. And we can measure your biological clock. That's what I do, measure biological age, measure your biological clock. And that age, guess what? It's in your control. How? Through your lifestyle. You change your lifestyle, you change your aging. You can reverse the clock. Do you remember there was that riddle? I don't know if you ever got asked this in the playground, which is what goes up but never comes down?
Yeah,
And like as a kid, the answer was always your age. Like your age always goes in one direction. It's always going upwards. It never comes down. Now I love it because that's not even the right answer anymore. We've got a new truth. So when you say, can we reverse age? Yes. The answer to that riddle is no longer your age only goes in one direction. It is reversible by focusing on your lifestyle. And here's something really interesting as well, Moses. So when we look at aging from a scientific perspective, what we now know is that there are 12 hallmarks of aging. So, what are these? Well, these are those things that are happening internally at the level of your cells, that imprint that your day to day lifestyle is having that is creating those aging processes. And of those 12 processes, and I can go through the names of all of those, but I won't do all of those today. But the key one at the center is inflammation. And that's something that many people will be familiar with, the word inflammation. So if you create more inflammation in your body, you speed up your aging processes. So if we can reverse that, instead of inflaming your body, become sort of more anti-inflammatory in the way that your body handles day-to-day life, you are going to be reversing aging. Make sense? Complicated.
absolutely. No, no,
Makes
no,
sense.
no. Makes sense.
Okay,
Makes
good.
absolutely sense. I'm fascinated. I'm thinking of how can this be possible, and what could be the next steps. So obviously, as a doctor, you
Mm.
have data that can back you up and prove this, correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So the first most important thing is to test. So identify data in yourself. Like if I ask you, Moses, like you say, you're in your 41st year, did you say, right? But and again, that's the piece of paper. That's your passport and your driving license. What do you know about how you're made and how you function? Like really, really know. What do you know in terms of data, signals, information? What do you know?
Not so much. I know I'm scared of needles, so
I remember, yeah, listen, I remember running after you with this, right? And you
yeah,
ran away. Okay.
yeah.
So this is important, right? This is a lancet, by the way, that I'm holding, which I use for finger prick testing. Um, and we can get so much information from your blood, your urine, your saliva, your stool, all those parts of your body that we can now access to analyze. So you've got to have a curious mind, no? Like, actually, do you want to know about yourself? Like, what is it? Your fear, Moses. So, okay, we've got the fear of needles, but what's the real fear when it comes to knowing about your health?
I would say that as a man, I'm afraid of pain. I fear pain. I don't like it.
Okay.
But if we go psychologically, there is always a fear of okay, what if we discover something that is not pleasant?
Yeah. Yeah. And there it is, you know, there it is. And particularly in the business world, this is really interesting. So I come across people like Moses a lot, entrepreneurs, executives. And the reason I say they're like Moses is because it's the ostrich in you, right? It's the person who wants to bury their head in the sand and just think everything is fine and not know, because there's that fear, right, of finding out something that is painful, psychologically painful, physically
Mhm.
painful. It's so much easier to just ignore it. But where does that ignoring it take you?
Well, the ignoring makes you think that you are in control. It's a false perspective of having things in control. Because once you get into something that it's black and white, now it's okay. Now this is a territory I do not know how to handle. And
Yeah.
that's where people go in crisis. Actually, people fail or die because of the prognosis rather than the effective illness.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're spot on there. Absolutely. And this is why knowing is so important. Because you know what? The word busy comes into mind when you particularly when you again look at the business world, entrepreneurs, executives. I'm so busy. I'm busy caring for my business. I'm busy caring for my clients. I'm busy caring for my team, for my family. The only person you're not busy caring about is you. And the important thing here is that when it comes to data and information and numbers, you know the numbers in your business, but hang on a minute, you are the epicenter of your business. Know your numbers, because fearing them isn't going to allow you to reach that potential. And I tell you, Moses, I don't know. Have you been close to death at all, ever?
Yes, several times, yes.
Right. Well, okay. Didn't expect you to say that. So answer this then. When you were there, what would you have given to have and to know confidently that you had an extra hour, an extra day, an extra year, an extra 10 years? And not just you, what would your family have given for that?
Everything. I mean, there is nothing. You don't think of it. You get up, figure it out.
Exactly. Because it's one life, right? It's one incredible, beautiful life. And all we have to do, one responsibility for all of us, is to take care of this incredible vessel of our life. This body is beautiful. Honestly, I geek out on the science. What happens internally is amazing every single millisecond. And now, guess what? Test, don't guess. You don't have to guess, oh, I'll go to the gym every, other day and follow these repetitions because a PT's told me to, or I've seen somebody on Instagram having celery juice, I'll do that, or oh, there's that latest supplement, I'll take that. You don't have to guess that what someone else tells you to do is right. You can know for yourself by testing, by knowing with absolute accuracy. So back to that sense of control. If you want control, guess what? Get into the control center, right? This is hacking. This is bio hacking. Hack your health. That's why I use what I call the health hacking code in my practice. And I get a lot of doctors who come to me and say, "Don't talk about hacking and don't talk about biohacking." And I'm like, "No, no, no, no. I'm giving back my patients and my clients control of their health, so that they can really get into that control center, take control, take ownership, take responsibility, empowerment, get to the core of their health and know with precision what to do." Because I don't know about you, but have you got time to guess what to do to live long, healthy, strong?
No.
No, right? And especially when you also have a family, right? People who need you too. It's really important. So that's what I love. I love doing the testing. Yes, I test biological age, hormones, your gut health, your cognitive health as well. As business owners, what do people want? They want to be able to think sharply. How are you going to do that? You've got to fuel your mind. And when I say fuel, yes, nutrition, how are you making energy? How are you moving? What are you doing about the stress of life? Now, most entrepreneurs will not talk about stress because they don't experience stress. We're not stressed. We're passionate. We love what we do, right? But guess what the body registers that as?
Mhm.
This wonderful hormone called cortisol comes along and starts to trigger, what did we talk about earlier? Inflammation in your body. And you have that cortisol high continuously, it's not going to be the longest life that you want. So, we have to pay homage to that. But again, when you choose how to adapt to the stressors of life, timing matters as well. So again, use your testing to then time all your interventions. Are you someone, Moses, who meditates or walks or does breath work? Do you do anything like that for yourself?
Yeah, meditation and walking, yes.
Yeah, love that, love that. And so many people now do, which is wonderful. But there's a trick here, a missing trick, and the trick is timing. Timing is everything. So you'll hear, on the socials about, I don't know, the 5 a.m. club. Get up, everybody, at 5 a.m. Everyone should be up at 5 a.m. And then you should meditate for the first hour of your day. Now, for some people, that's absolutely spot on because your cortisol hormone, that stress activator, may be way too high in the morning. So that's the time for you to do that. But for somebody else, that is absolutely the wrong time. You want to be doing that later in your day when your stress levels have been super high all day and you need that rest and sort of reset. So you've got to get the timing right. And the only way and I keep coming back to this, is to test. What if I gave you a tube and all I asked you to do was spit in it? I know you're averse to having blood tests, but could you spit in a tube every couple of hours through a day, analyze it, and know exactly when to meditate, to walk, to breathe, so that you can be in control of your nervous system? That's what we need, right? We've got to control our nervous system.
Now, I'm going to ask you a controversial question.
Yeah.
You have been for over 20 years a GP, and I'm not assuming, but some of your colleagues don't go in depth like you are doing right now. So the NHS or the national, wherever you're watching us from, your
Mhm.
national healthcare system doesn't talk about this, doesn't work on these at this level like you are doing right now. And probably because of the big pharma, for the pharmaceutical world and everything. So obviously, as a doctor, how did you manage and what led you to get on this trajectory of purely serving people and sorting out challenges and problems rather than just doing like everybody, prescribing a pill, prescribing a drug? And
Mm.
what is your story? What led you to do that?
Wow, yeah, that's a really important question, isn't it? Because you're right, everybody has this journey that takes them to what they do now, and why they do that with such passion, and it's no different for me. So you're right, I was that drug pusher, NHS GP here in the UK, and I thought I was doing a great job. Back 20 years ago, I was thriving in that environment, and a couple of things happened along the way. One is in July 2003, my father is unwell. And of course, Dr. Daughter takes control of his care because Dr. Daughter wants the best care for her father. And I find him the best surgeon. And off he goes to have this important operation. And sadly, he dies on the operating table. And the surgeon's knife slips and results in terrible, terrible bleeding, which can't be controlled back to control. And so I say goodbye to my father. This is in July 2003. But for me, ongoing after that, a couple of things happened. Firstly, unfortunately, his diagnosis was an error, medical error, which meant that the operation he was having for cancer turned out to be an operation he didn't need. He didn't have cancer. And secondly, the surgeon who operated on him, that I'd found the best surgeon in the world, Moses, he came in flew in especially to operate. He was tired. He was jet lagged. He hadn't slept. His knife slipped. And so, all these errors. But at the time, for me, the journey was one of absolute guilt and incredible deep grief. And I didn't know how to do that, how to handle that. How do you? Um, and so I did what many people do in difficult times, which is distract myself and just get busy. So I plunged into my NHS GP practice. I got super involved. I became the best doctor that I could. I worked tirelessly. And when I say tirelessly, at the same time as raising young children. And then this body decides it wants to have a say. So it decides to give me a fever. So I wake up one morning, an ordinary day, with a fever, and I do again what most people do is go to work. I've got to go to work. People need me. So I go to work. This is now June 2012. And unfortunately, what I didn't realize on that day that I went to work with my fever of 40 was that I wouldn't be back in my consulting room for another 4 months, because that fever took a grip and decided to shut down my kidneys and break my liver. And I was hospitalized and I'm cut open with knives and I have drips and tubes everywhere. And on my birthday morning in June 2012, my children, they're visiting me in hospital saying, "Happy birthday, mummy." And all I know is that I don't know if I'm going to make it through that day, let alone the next week, the month, and the year. And back to, I asked you about, have you ever experienced death or near death? That was my time. And for me, that, people talk about seeing the light and running towards the light. It was real. It is real. I still see that. I'm running towards the light, running, and my 3 children's shadows are there stopping me. And so I'm back. And that now I know is burnout, but I didn't have a word for it then. But it's a physical, the body saying enough. But I didn't listen to those signals. I didn't tune in. I was the ostrich, right? I was the ostrich. I didn't want to know what my body's signals were. I was also the road runner, like too busy to even take care of myself, like taking care of other people. And so in my recovery, Moses, I didn't really know how to recover. I couldn't even walk up the stairs for several months. I decided to text my husband. So I text my husband and say, "I'm just going off on my own to make some decisions and decide what I need to do for the rest of my life." And I get on a plane. This is the day after Mother's Day. And I head off to India. And I do some voluntary work with people at the end of their life there. I've never done voluntary work like this before. I just had this calling to just go and help and just have some time out and allow that sort of bubble to burst. And that, Moses, is where I meet my first centenarian. I meet a man, his name is Motu, and he's 106 years old. And, when you hold the hands of a man who's 106 years old, I'm telling you, it's just special. And I ask him how and what he's done. And there's one thing that he says to me, Moses, he says, "I have been kind to my life, and my life has been kind to me." And not just his life, his body. And I thought, right, that's it. I've got to help people to be kind to themselves, because we're not. And I could see that through my years of practice, that you're not kind to your body. You're not eating, moving, sleeping, connecting, not doing any of that. So I knew I had to bring that back to the UK. And that's where I started embedding in, getting away from being that drug pusher doctor. Pill for every ill. Got a headache, have a pill. Got high blood pressure, have a pill. Got heartburn, have a pill. Doesn't work. Take care of this incredible vessel of your life. And that's how I shifted. And then even deeper, recognizing that, wow, this is an amazing time to be alive. Not just focusing on that intuition, that innate intuition of how to move, how to sleep, because we know it, but also bringing in these incredible health tech and devices and what the 21st century can allow us to do now. So I now use data from testing and devices from health tech to help people to make decisions with absolute precision about their health, so that they can now change that trajectory and live a 1,000,000-hour life, or maybe, like you, Moses, become immortal, right?
Well, that's my aspiration. We will see. I will let you know. I will let you know. We have time yet. We still have time.
But I think that's the important thing, Moses, is set the aspiration for everybody listening. Set the aspiration. Like, if you only ask yourself one question today, ask yourself, how long do I want to stay alive? And set that aspiration. For me, it's 1,000,000 hours. It's 114 years. For people in the Million Hour Club, it's 114 years. For Moses, it's immortality. Like, set it, because if you don't set it, you're not going to aspire to reach it. Once you set it, you're going to be moving your life in that direction to get there.
Brilliant. And now, what is the 1 million hour club?
Right. So the 1 Million Hour Club. So it's an online club where you are around other health enthusiasts, people who want to live that aspiration to live a long, healthy, happy life. And what we do in the club is we test. So everybody in the club tests their biological age. And how often do you do that? Every 114 days. 1,000,000 hours, 114 years. You can see that. And the reason is because it acts as your tracker to know that what you're doing in your lifestyle, is it edging you towards reversing your aging and living longer? Or could what you'll be doing, even though it might feel like, you're eating well, moving well, doing all of that, is it adding an extra stressor on your body that's accelerating aging? So we use aging as a tracker. But also, we have right at the beginning of your club membership is we test 114 different biomarkers of your health, so that you get precise information into what you're doing to make energy. We're energetic beings, aren't we, Moses? Like, we have to have energy. So how are you fueling yourself? Is your body capable of making energy with the nutrition? Are there any toxins on board? Could you have heavy metals stopping you? Is there any arsenic? I'm thinking about arsenic in people so much, and other metals. Have you got the right anti-inflammatory nutrients that you need? I measure things like omega-3s. Always also manage to look at what could be going on in your gut. How is your brain responding? You talked about the dogs earlier and them helping to live a long life. Yeah, that's the hormone oxytocin, right? You have that oxytocin flowing, you do live longer, right? You have the right levels of adrenaline and dopamine and serotonin and endorphins, all these hormones that help you get the right dose and live longer. I look at all of that. So that's what happens in the Million Hour Club. Plus, accountability is the most important thing, right? Is, you sitting at home on your own saying you're going to do things. Well, we know that, yeah, exactly. You just don't. So what do you need to give you that momentum to keep going? The data does it. The numbers nudge. Once you see your test results, you cannot ignore them. But so does being part of a community as well. And plus, in the Million Hour Club, you get access to being able to ask questions that you can't necessarily take anywhere else. Who do you ask your health questions to get the credible information that you need? And that information is coming from me. I love this what you're doing here, Moses, expert to expert. So being that longevity expert, I can answer those questions about your health for you. So that's what the Million Hour Club is all about, and all of it with the aim that you get to live on this planet for as long as possible, to share your gifts and skills for as long as possible, and make that mark in the world, living a legacy and leaving a legacy, and being here for as long as possible for those people who love you and need you as well.
And brilliant. And just to close this segment, you're talking about the Million Hour Club, and obviously, I know you have a gift for whoever is listening to us. So if you are watching us right now, please click on that notification button, subscribe to the main page, and make sure you share this video to somebody who wants to live 1 million hour. And if you are listening to us through Spotify, Apple, Amazon, anything, download it so you have always Dr. Alka Patel with you, and share it with somebody out there. Okay? Now, what is the gift you're giving to our viewers and listeners?
So, on my road to recovery, Moses, I had to figure out for myself how to shape my lifestyle so I could recover and live a good, healthy, long life as well. And I got so much good advice, eat this, sleep better, move better. And I didn't really know what to do. So I created a formula that then gave me the exact starting point for what to do. So this is your LQ, your longevity quotient, and it looks at the key areas in your lifestyle that tap into your lifespan. Remember, lifestyle results in lifespan, healthy lifespan. So what this gift is, Moses, is a series of questions which are all science-backed, research-driven, that you simply answer. that will give you your LQ. So they'll tell you how your lifestyle is shaping your lifespan. And more importantly, what area to focus on first. Is it sleep? Is it food? Is it exercise? Is it connection? Is it understanding your identity? So when people take the LQ, what they will find is they'll get their score, but they'll also get access to resources that then enable them to really start to build that foundational level of lifestyle changes that are going to be important for them to then build on with later testing and focus in order to live that million-hour life. So that's what the LQ will give you. Lots and lots of information and resources to be able to start that longevity journey straight away.
And look at the description wherever you are. Look at the descriptions below. You will find the link where you can get your LQ longevity IQ. Okay, longevity quotient. Okay, perfect. Now, before we leave, I always ask this question, but with you, I'm going to ask it in a different way. Are you ready?
Here we go.
Okay, so now this is Alka, Dr. Alka right now, okay? Now, I want you to look on your left, and I want you to see the Alka of 8 years old. But then on your other side, on your right side, you've got the Alka of 114 years old. What is the Alka of today going to tell the Alka of 8 years old and 114? In 20 seconds for both sides, go.
So the 114-year-old is going to say, follow your...
No. What you are going to say to the Alka of 114 and
Right.
what you are going to say to
Got
the
it.
Alka of 8 years old.
Okay. So the Alka of 114, what I'm saying is that was a life beautifully lived. That was an exceptional life. Well done. And
Wow.
to my 8-year-old self, I'm going to say, have fun, keep focus, and have finesse in everything that you do.
Wow. Brilliant. Brilliant. And normally I ask this question with the 8-year-old and the 80, but because you are the founder of the 1 million hour and you are the expert of longevity, I had to stretch you. Is that okay?
Oh, perfect. Perfect.
Okay. Now, before we leave, I know normally this is my last question, but I want you to give quickly 3 quick tips, 3 quick health tips that you can give us as the expert of longevity. 3 quick ones.
Okay, number one, stand more. You'll see I'm standing throughout this entire conversation. So sit less. Magic number here is 3.5. If you can stand more than you sit, so sit for less than 3.5 hours in a day, you add years to your life. Right? That's an absolute. Number two, another magic number is 6. Do not sleep less than 6 hours a night. What you want to be aiming for is 7 to 8. Yes, Moses, that applies to you too. And the reason for this is also from a productivity angle. If you sleep 6 hours or less for just 2 nights in a row, your productivity for the next 6 days plummets. So you lose out. So when you talk about that gap between your potential, you don't even see it, but you're missing out just by not sleeping. So that magic number is 6. And I have another magic number, which happens also to be 6, which is about nervous system regulation. So breath work. Slow your breathing down to 6 or less breaths a minute. And if you do that, you switch from your sympathetic, stressful nervous system to activating your parasympathetic, peaceful nervous system. And guess what? Your breath is always with you. You can do that at any time of the day, and it will immediately get calm clarity. And that's what we want to be able to do. Day in, day out, hour in, hour out, we want to be able to think with absolute clarity.
So breathe and hold it for 10 seconds and then exhale.
No. It's very simply breathe in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 6.
Oh, okay, got it.
In for 4, out for 6. And you only need to do that 6 times, and that's slow down your breathing rate to less than 6 breaths a minute.
Okay. And 6 times in what time frame?
1 minute. If you've only got a minute, just do it for a minute.
Okay.
Right? In between your meetings, before you get onto that next conversation, before you go into the boardroom, before, all those transition periods that you have. And if you've got longer, keep going.
Okay. How many times a day?
As many times as you want to and can. Notice your own stress signals. When you're noticing those, that's the time to do it. Do it in your transition periods. Create habits. It's a really good way of habit hacking is use the phrase when I. So for example, when I turn on my computer every morning, I will slow down my breathing rate to 6. When I finish brushing my teeth every morning, I will slow down my breathing rate to 6. So use that phraseology, when I will. Hook a new habit, your breathing habit, onto something you're already doing. Works like magic.
My biggest takeaway from these 3 tips is tip number 2, because literally it's really hard for me to go to sleep more than 6 hours. No matter what it is, I always go to bed at about 2, and normally by 5:30 I'm already awake.
Yeah.
6 I'm already awake. So that's less than even 4 hours.
It
And
is.
then I go all day long. And I've been doing this for years and years. So I will take on board your tip, and I'll get back on
You must,
making it
Moses.
happen.
Genuinely, this is taking years off your life, and you won't see that now because you can push through without sleep. But it will catch up with you without a doubt. It will catch up with you mentally, with memory issues, Alzheimer's, and it will catch up with you with the length of your life. But I'm going to leave you with a challenge, which is, how committed are you really to optimizing your sleep?
Mm.
You say it, but are you going to do it?
Interesting challenge. So for those of you who are watching and listening, I'm taking up this challenge, and the next time we have Dr. Alka Patel as our guest, I will give you feedback on my sleeping patterns and how I am doing, because commitment is something you do after the moment of excitement that you say, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to commit on sleeping more than at least 6 hours, okay? That's going to be my first commitment, and I'm going to stick on to it. And for those of you who are watching us, this is E2E, and this was Dr. Alka Patel. On the descriptions beneath, you can find all the details. Please get in touch with her, connect with her, and grab the LQ, Longevity Quotient, which is the gift that she is giving to all of you who are watching. Share this and help somebody out there who may need to tap into the 1 million hour and get into this club. I'm going to be part of it, and I'm going to challenge it. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Dr. Alka Patel. We love you. We appreciate you. Keep on doing what you're doing. This is E2E. We bring the world best experts to you. Expert to experts. See you on the next episode. Ciao.